Welcome back to another hour of Scotch Hour. I'm Noah.
And I'm Jesse.
All right, this is episode 143. I think we have a decent lineup here. We got Glen Dronach, Portwood, followed by our shout-outs, and then our restaurant review being Mezza Mediterranean Grill, followed by our Smarter Challenge being The Island, the movie, 2005, and cloning. All right, before we get started and jumping in, thank you to everyone who watches us on YouTube and Rumble. We greatly appreciate all of you. Thank you to all the people who listen to us on the many different platforms. We greatly appreciate you as well. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also, leave some comments down below. And with that, let's get started.
Scotch Review.
All right, well, this week's single malt scotch of choice, as Noah has mentioned, the Glen Dronach Portwood single malt Highland Scotch whiskey. All right, so the Glen Dronach has a history dating back all the way to 1826. Not the oldest of distilleries, but not a young one at the same time. Founded by James Allards. It is in the heart of Speyside. They're nestled in the heart of Speyside in the Highlands. A couple key pieces here. Much like any of our favorite distilleries, they do have a favored water source. Theirs is the Dronach Burn, a nearby river flowing with pure water, which I assume is actually heavy in minerals because those minerals tend to do some of these scotches great flavor profiling. The Glen Dronach is derived from the Scottish Gaelic Valley of the Brambles. Like many distilleries, it has had a multitude of changes of ownership and remained open most of its history from 1826 all the way up until 1996, when it did have to slowly mothball and close its doors until 2002, when it was given a new lease on life by the Ben Riach Distillery, who is the master distiller there, Rachel Berry, and she is noted as the master blender distiller for the Glen Dronach Distillery as well. They are known for their sherry cask maturation process. So they are using Oloroso and Pedro Ximenez casks to flavor their single malt scotches during the aging process. This particular one does not have an age statement, but my guess is, much like some of their other greats, it's right around that 12-year range. Couple key notes here, they're tasting notes: color, an intense cherry wood. Nose, breathe in delightful waves of Victoria plum, bramble, and strawberry jam, with top notes of cherry blossom and honeysuckle on a base of sandalwood and ginger. The palate has layers upon layers of rich fruits: sip blackberry and roasted apple, crumble with freshly baked gingerbread, developing into a baked orange and black cherry back note. The finish is savor orange peel, sultana, and cherry cake, lingering into the rich, fruity finish. And it sounds like they do have a few different tours available at their distillery.
Yes, they do. And to first start off here, their visitor center is open year-round, 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. GMT time. And all their experiences include a tour of the production areas and a visit into one of their warehouses. It does say here, though, if you do happen to watch this before these dates, that the visitor center will be closed from 12 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. on Friday, December 22nd, for a private event. And also, it will be the visitor center will be closed from 3:30 on Saturday, December the 23rd, and will reopen at 10 a.m. on the 10th of January. I'm assuming that's a Christmas/New Year type of closure there. All right, on to the tours. The Sherry Masterclass. This is one of the different tours that you can take. It does say here that you delve into the rich history of sherry cask maturation and discover how Glen Dronach has become renowned as the sherry oak connoisseur since 1826. This tutored tour and tasting will explore the depths of the character and flavor in our new make, spirit, and why it lends itself so well, exquisitely rich sherry maturation. You do have to be 18 years or older to attend this. It is 1.5 hours and it's 60 Great British pounds. So you're probably talking about like $70 right there, $72 roughly. Then we got the classic tour. Here our Highland whiskeys are recognized for, or not ours, but theirs. Is recognized for their deep color and rich flavor profiles, which range from sweet, fruity flavors from the Pedro Jimenez. Is that how we're saying that? Is it Jimenez or Ximenez or
Jimenez?
Yeah. Nailed it. Casks that they select to the dry and nutty notes from the superb Oloroso casks. After the tour of their production areas and a walk through the warehouse, you'll sample 3 whiskeys from their exquisite core range, exploring the art of sherry maturation, paired with homemade chocolate truffles to complement and expand your flavor experience. Once again, you have to be 18 years or older. It is 1 hour for this one here, and the admission is 25 Great British pounds. So you're probably talking about like $27 or $28 there. Then there's the Boys Mill experience. So here you're going to be welcomed to a hot drink on arrival, followed by a walkthrough of the tour production to learn of their time-honored traditions of craftsmanship. Finally, relax and enjoy a tutored tasting from the old and rare collection, savored alongside a food pairing to complement your flavor experience. You have to be 18 years old for this one as well or older. The length of this one is 2 hours long, and the admission is 185 Great British pounds. So here you're probably roughly talking about maybe like 205, maybe about somewhere between $205 to $210 probably on that one. So there you go. Those are the experiences that they have available.
Sound like some great experiences, particularly the latter of the several.
Honestly, I think the latter one probably would be the best. I know it's the most expensive. And I know we normally agree, like, the more expensive one is probably a better way to go. But when they're doing like a flavor profiling with food pairings, I think that's always going to be the better way to go.
It could be, unless they give you food. Tastes like shit. I'm sure they would not.
I mean, they could. They could, but hopefully they're not going to give you anything like goat's stomach lining or anything like that. Haggis I think this is what it's called, right?
Rocky Mountain oysters.
Yeah. Hopefully they're not giving you anything like that.
All right.
But if they are going to give you haggis, I'm going to need a lot more than maybe four drams.
Good call. Well, one thing to note about this Portwood Glen Dronach is that it is enriched by a second maturation in the finest port wood pipes from the Douro Valley in Portugal. So even though they are known for their sherry cask maturation process and techniques, this particular version has that second maturation in the port pipes. The Glen Dronach Portwood Highland Single Malt Scotch. Whoa, the canister. I love the color. It's great. I'm going to go with deep, rich plum and gold is fantastic. Nice, solid structure. Opening right up. Love the tin. The bottle itself, the color immediately, just like they said. It is that deep cherry wood color. Digging the label, enjoying that. I do like the bottle itself. The foil looks great.
Okay, what's the little label up top?
It just talks about James Allards, the founder, born in 1780, perishing in 1849, and that he just distilled and was the distiller and master bottler from that time period.
Oh, so it's just like the segment that's like on the canister right there, but smaller.
Yeah, just a smaller label with the same information on the canister up top.
Okay, I just wasn't sure if it was something else.
And as we open this foil, nice, sturdy, solid, firm foil. Maybe too firm, just broke her. As we open it up, undoubtedly, zero doubt, solid wood topper, which it does look like it may or may not have. I think it's plastic. We're going to have to pop it out to be 100% sure, though. As we do pop it, solid cork. I think they went in a different direction. They got a solid cork with a plastic topper.
Huh.
That's interesting. But why, Jesus? Why?
Is that really plastic? Yeah, it is. Huh. I like the fact that they use real cork. Not sure about the plastic top.
Oh, that color already amazing. Thing also to note about the color, it is a natural imparted color from those port wood casks during the second maturation process in particular, but also during the original maturation process in the sherry cask they are known for finishing their scotches in.
All right, well, I guess it's time for our tasting notes and our warp speed.
Warp speed!
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, Glen Dronach Portwood. This particular expression from Glen Dronach, I really enjoyed. You said it's from Highlands, right? Yeah, well,
nestled in the heart of Speyside.
Oh, so it's actually a Speyside.
Which is Highlands.
Which is Highlands. Right, exactly. Okay, well, to start off with the presentation, I, like yourself, I like the purple. I like the gold. The one thing I don't really care too much about it, and I think they probably could have like put it elsewhere, is that information about where it says Portwood and I guess the founder of the place right there. I think it should have just been purple with going down to Glen Dronach and then having maybe all that stuff on the back. I don't know. Likewise with the bottle, I really like the bottle and the labeling on the bottle, but once again, I think they could have used that that little label. I asked you what it was. I think they should put that on the back or something too. I think it just kind of distracts from like that, from that main part right there. But otherwise, it's actually a pretty nice label. Everything I like, I pretty much like the whole presentation. Those are just like little minor knocks right there. But the one thing that I really don't like is the plastic top. So because of that, I gave it 4 out of 5. I was on the verge of giving it 3 because of like those little like things right there. But I thought that was a little, ticky tacky. I didn't really have the dog points for that. The color, I really enjoyed the color. And here, what I put with the color is dark amber with a slight tawny red hint. And what I mean by slight tawny red hint is like if you look at like tawny ports, they have like this red hue to them. It's like a red goldish hue, which is a little bit more red than this. But this has like that tint of red, and I think that's coming from those port casks. And I really like the coloring there, so I give that a 5 out of 5. For the nose, if I can read my notes here, I put toasted walnut with caramel, oak, leather, and candied berries. And the candied berries, I'm talking like these are like dark berries, like probably like blackberries, what I'm kind of leaning towards. But I think there's definitely more than one berry in here that you're tasting in the flavor profile, which is why I kind of went with just candied berries, because you get this nice sweet smell of dark berries with this, and which is kind of like holds true to Rachel Berry and the Ben Reacts that we've come across as well. So I like that a lot. I really enjoyed the nose, and I gave that a 27 out of 30. The palate to me was smooth, jammy with a nice sweetness to it. The sweetness coming from the berry profile. It also has you also get like a hint of the caramel in there as well, and it's just nice, sweet, and jammy. And honestly, if I didn't know that this was a Scotch, and someone just gave me a cup in a tumbler or a cup in like a rocks glass or something, and they didn't tell me what it was, I'm not sure if I would pinpoint this necessarily as a Scotch from the get go, just because of the flavor profile, like when you taste it. Because it's so like smooth and sweet to it, sweetness to it. But being I've tried over 100 and something, I probably would pick it out as a Scotch. So, but if I wasn't well versed, I think it'd be pretty easy to I think it's a Scotch right away. I gave it 27 out of 30 on the palate as well. But after the palate starts to subside, you start getting like a slight spiciness, but it's not like a huge spice. I almost put it down as like as holiday spice, but really it wasn't a holiday spice. It was more of a ginger spice with some ginger spice with hints of walnut and oak. And I really just the way because it wasn't like super spicy with the ginger or anything like that. It had the right amount of spice, and then it flowed into that walnut and the oak, which I really enjoyed as well. So I gave it 27 out of 30 points. So my grand total was 90 points on this one. Would I take it to a black tie affair? Yeah, I definitely would. I think it has a nice presentation, minus the plastic top. But I think the flavor profile would definitely hold up at a black tie affair. Would I take it to a game night? Yeah, I take it to a game night. And does it have a place on your shelf? Most definitely. I think it does.
All right. Well, much like yourself, very impressed with the Scotch. As far as the presentation, dig the canister. I think what bugged me most about the excessive verbiage was how difficult it was to read. Tiny little letters. Gold ink. Just made it difficult to read, which in that sense makes it less versatile. The bottle itself, same way. Can't stand the plastic topper. To me, I think you're onto something. This doesn't even look like a Scotch to me. It looks like cognac. Color, bottle, so many different things. Not complaining. I love a great cognac. But this in particular, just a bottle with the extra pieces. Very interesting. Presentation of 4 out of 5, notably because of that plastic topper for me as well. To go with the extra mile with all of these other details and then take a step back there, that is a mistake. All right. So 4 out of 5 presentation, color, beautiful, medium, brass, with that little pink hue to it, that little bit of port influence for sure. 5 out of 5. Again, this is a natural part of this Scotch is that there's no color added. This is the natural color. Palette. Oh, okay. So 5 out of 5 for color. Palette. Amazing. Nose. Let's start there. The nose for me, I get hints of caramel, cashew, And then fruits, those dark berries, the raspberry, the blackberry, maybe a little blueberry, and then a teeny little hint of orange. 27 out of 30 on the nose. Palate. Oh, this was my high point. It's like creamy Cocoa Pebbles right at the front. Like a bowl of Cocoa Pebbles where you just threw some half and half or heavy whipping cream on it. A spoon to bite in your mouth. You get that cocoa. It's creamy. It's delicious. Transitions to burnt caramel coated berries. And it's almost like you take, for me, when I take that first bite of creme brulee, where I've got the caramelized sugar on top and I throw some raspberries, some blackberries, and some blueberries on there, maybe even some strawberries. Crack open the crust, get those all intermixed with just a little bit of the custard. That is that flavor in my mouth. It is the dark berries mixed with the caramelized sugar, not quite caramel, but caramelized sugar and just a hint of a creme. So for me, palate 28, finish, medium long finish. It's interesting. It does start with that ginger and then it goes back to young fruit. So it's going backwards in the sense of now the fruits aren't so sweet and jammy or juicy. They're more dry. The wood, the oak comes out in that flavor. And then so does a hint of a salted walnut, almost briny, but not quite. And just a little bit of cashew. For the finish of 27, total for me, a 91.
All right, 90 and 91.
Yes, and black tie, yes. Game night, yes. Spot on the shelf, absolutely. Going price, Noah paid right around $110 for this bottle. Value-wise, I think it is definitely a value for a place on the shelf just because it is so contrast, as you mentioned, to most scotches.
And it's really smooth, though. I mean, it's super smooth.
It is. It is.
It's time for our shout-outs.
My two shout outs, Mila, awesome job finishing with high marks once again. Your next semester of school and you're paying for it all through your own hard work. That is amazing. And to Aiden, I was blessed in a sense. The weather was a little cold. I was racing home from work. He was about to have a basketball game. I was able to make the game and I got to witness his first dunk, which was amazing.
That was his first dunk ever?
Yeah, his first dunk ever. I got to witness it, and everyone keeps asking, "Why didn't you record it?" So, how the hell was I supposed to know he was going to dunk? I didn't think he could jump that high. He's not that much taller than me. Somehow, his power legs moved him up there. It was a beautiful sight. He had a solid game all around. His defense was on point. You could tell the coach, and coach, well done for this. Put him in on all of the hardest players to defend. Anytime somebody on the opposing team got hot, Aiden was put in to stop them, and he stopped them dead cold. I mean, like, they could be on fire, and all of a sudden, they were in a block of ice. They couldn't move. They couldn't get close to him. Aiden was so damn impressive. Aiden, you made me proud. You and Mila always do, but you really made me proud with your effort and your energy in this game. You made every shot you took, which is another thing, because sometimes I think it's easy to get frustrated. Like, take the damn shot. But at the end of the game, if you're looking back and like, okay, you scored some good points. And on top of that, your goal ratio is 100%, including his final 2 points. His team was up 2 right at the end, seconds left in the fourth quarter, and he gets fouled, gets 2 free throws, knocks them both in. When you go with about 4 seconds left on the clock, from being down 2 points to down 4 points, you no longer can win a game or even bring it back with a 3-pointer. And so, well done, Aiden. Super proud of you.
So does this mean we have to start calling him Iceman?
Right? Maybe if he keeps this up, God damn it. It was a beautiful thing to see, and I was blessed that I got to be there and see all of it.
That's awesome. I don't have any shout outs or get-togethers this week, so I don't know if you have any get-togethers, but if not, we'll just leave it at that with the Iceman.
No, man, no get-togethers. The only other shout-out would be ending the season, as was already expected, on a high note. Verstappen, Honda, Red Bull, motor racing, taking home all of those trophies and prize millions of dollars. Good job to you guys. And more importantly, thank you for making the sport fun to watch again.
Restaurant Review.
This week's restaurant, Mezza Mediterranean Grill, here in, did they classify that as Parker, Colorado, or as Lone Tree? It is really right by Jordan Road and 470, not far off. Yeah, you take the little intersection right before 470 if you're heading southbound, and you take it over to Chambers, and voila, there
Parker.
it is. So it is part of Parker, but it is, unfortunately for it, in a newer little development area. There's a gas station there. There's a liquor store there, which was, as I got it, part of the gas station.
Yeah.
Didn't it look like that?
Yeah, it kind of looked like
It's
it.
big time. And then there's the Mezza Grill right next door. So the business, I think that they're going to have to fight for it. But we've got some pretty good things to say. I believe, at least I do.
I believe so too. When we first pull up there, as Jesse said, it's kind of like next to, I wouldn't say next to, like it's one building, and the, as he said, the convenience store or gas station, if you will, and the liquor store are like all part of one part of the building and then there's a wall, and then you have the restaurant. So for the little, I don't know, I guess it's attached to the gas station, but it's not part of the gas station. But the parking there is terrible, because really there's only like 3 parking spots like right in front of the restaurant, and all the other parking spots are in front of the gas station / liquor store. So the actual location of it is a little bit odd. I think there does look like. And I guess right now, and as the wife's the owner's wife, or maybe she's also the owner, I guess too. But I think Christine
owns at least half of that,
Yeah.
and his balls.
So she's saying like I think where they parked is like actually in the drive-through lane there, but off to the side of there, just a little bit more, there was actually some open space that maybe could be utilized into more parking, which probably should be utilized for that restaurant, honestly. It's kind of small. It doesn't have like a whole lot of tables in there. I think you have probably about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe like 9 tables, maybe 10, like somewhere between like 9 and 10 tables in there. So not like a ton of people can actually dine in the place. The one thing about like if you were to dine in there, because it is so small and the way it's set up, anytime if it's cold outside, anytime someone walks in, you're gonna get blasted from the cold. No matter where you sit, I think in that little small area. Here they don't have a wait staff. You have to actually go up to the counter to order. But this would be one of the one times where the machine asks you to tip, and I actually didn't feel bad about tipping someone because they actually brought the meal out. So Christine and Max are the owners, super friendly people. And it was kind of funny because when we were looking for a place to go, I was searching and I saw a bunch of great reviews on Google Maps for this place. And a lot of people kept mentioning Max. And so when we went in there, I was like, hey, is that Max? and Christine's like, yeah, that's Max. I'm like, oh, okay. Hi, Max. And
He's like, who the fuck?
Yeah, he was exactly like, who the fuck is this guy? And so I explained like how we found the place to do Google Maps, and how they talked about Max being the owner. And then we found out Christine was his wife, and super nice people. Great. It's awesome to see how they had it. Like like the recipes that he used are his mother's recipes. And it's great to see like they had a dream to have like to do this restaurant and to use family recipes to create the food. And it was excellent. The food was great. And they allow like I got the plate. It was the beef shawarma plate. And it came with like a side salad. It came with it was supposed to be hummus, but I didn't want hummus because I'm not a big fan of hummus. So they gave me baba ganoush, and the baba ganoush was awesome. Which is like a grilled eggplant that's kind of mushed up with like smoked paprika, and they give you some pita bread there to do it on there, and they also give you I think it was some kind of chili pepper. I want to say hatch green chili, but I don't know if that was it or not. I didn't ask. Probably should have, but it was so good. So good. And then he had fries on there, and the fries were done to perfection. They were just nice and golden. They had the nice amount of crunchiness on the outside with a nice soft inside with the right amount of salt on there. So it was like done perfectly well. And then they had the rice and the beef and then the sauce. It was so good. I mean, it was $15.99 for it. It was worth every penny, and the portions were huge. Like, honestly, I probably should not have finished my plate, but I did. And I definitely will be going back again. The one knock, though, if I have to say a knock there, is like it really could like use like wine with the meal, but they don't have their liquor license yet, so maybe that'll come in the future. But it would have been nice to have a glass of wine with the meal. The other thing I got to note here is that neither one of us went with any of the chicken dishes, and they have this garlic sauce that goes with the chicken dishes. That is phenomenal, especially if you like garlic, because it is super duper garlicky, and it tastes so good. So Max, he's like, this is your first time here. You guys didn't get any of the chicken dishes. You guys got to try the garlic sauce, and so he brought us out a big damn garlic sauce, and what I ended up doing is I ended up mixing up the part of that garlic sauce with my beef shawarma and rice, and I used the sauce that comes with the beef shawarma, and they also have like this the homemade hot sauce that they have too. And I put a little bit of that in there and mix it all up with the rice and the beef. It was so good. Is it a destination spot? You know, because of the convenience of how close it is, because it's only like 1.5 miles from where we are. And the price, I thought the price point was great, great value for the meal. The people were super friendly. So I'm going to say, for me, it is a destination point. Now, if I lived like, let's say 45 minutes away in Westminster or something like that, I don't think it would be a destination point. But from where we live, yeah, I can see myself going there quite a few times, and I would consider a destination point for that fact. And if someone was coming, like hanging out, like let's say Brian was coming over or my brother was coming over, and they're like, "Hey, let's go grab some food," I might suggest us just going there as a kind of like a destination spot to go grab a food, type of thing. So would I meet friends there? Definitely. Would I take a date there? Ooh, this is tough. Because I think the food is worthy. I think the food is date worthy, but the location is not date worthy. But I think if it's not the first date, I think you can get away with it. Also,
if you want a second date,
don't do it on the first date. But maybe the second or third date, you might be able to get away with it after she knows you a little bit better. But also, I don't think I would go out of my way to go there for a date either, unless it's like on the way to go do something else, which it could very well be like on the way for the most part, because it's not like that far out of the way to go there to go catch the highway for us at this location. Yeah, I'm going to give like obviously the wait staff for the owners, so they love and care about this place. So I'm giving that a 10. The place was this place was pretty clean. So the food, I'm giving that. I thought it was a 10. I love the food. Location is kind of bad. I think overall, though, I think when you kind of put it all together, food value, the owners or the wait staff there, I think overall it's like a 9. I would like to give it a 10, but there's like a couple little things that kind of throw it off from being a 10. But this is kind of like more like, I don't want to say it's like the middle range where it's a sit-down restaurant, but it's not quite fast foody either. It's like somewhere in between fast foody and middle range, which is why I feel okay giving it like a 9. Now, if I was going to compare it to some like nice sit-down place, I wouldn't give it a 9. But like for the range, like the category it's in, like if I were to put it with fast food, I'd give it a 10. But if I'm going to put it like with like middle range, like sit down, I'm giving it a 9. But it's kind of like somewhere like in a fuzzy gray area there for me.
All right. Well, Mezza Mediterranean Grill. Our score is not so different here. Let's start with the detractors. The location, the parking lot, and then just from a quick snapshot, the environment itself. Definitely clean. Not super warm and friendly, just from a quick snapshot. And the parking lot was really the big detractor. It's just the location. I honest to God, really do wish them just the best because maybe their goal isn't to be a sit-down restaurant, but with the food and the service they provide, it should be. They have all the potential. Max and Christine, you guys have all the potential in the world. Please succeed. I really, you have all my best wishes because what you deliver in the long run, the long game is a huge win. It's a W. So you take out the fact that the parking lot is a gas station and that it's you can tell it was originally part of a gas station where it was all connected to one giant convenience store that's a gas station, and it was the little side restaurant, whether it's a pizza place or a burger place or an Arby's or whatever it may be, most likely a sub or chicken place, because it has the drive-through and everything set up ready to go. Just you take those pieces out of it and it has so much potential. So location and parking, the exterior piece only gets a 6. The interior, it's Taco Bell cold. It's a 7. Now let's go to the wins. Service, a solid 10. Max was amazing. His wife was amazing. Again, this should be a sit-down restaurant to me. The menu isn't huge or diverse in any sort of extravagant manner, but what they did have, everything we tried, was flawless. So, food. I went with the hero plate. So you got the rice with the hero meat and the homemade French fries all on top. I went with the side of the regular hummus, which was also great, but I also got a whole side plate of the baba ganoush, which was a 10. Basically, eggplant hummus, for anyone who doesn't know. It was a win with the oil and the tomato and the pickled peppers. Every bit of it, every bite of it. If there was going to be something I was leaving behind, it was not that. Definitely a 10 there, a win. As Noah mentioned, you get to the plate, and with the plates, you get the fries on top. Fries remind me of my mom's homemade fries. You take off just enough of the skin, you slice them, you dice them. No, you don't dice them. You just slice them, you fry them, and you salt the hell out of them. Delicious. The fries were a 10. The hero meat, I like to call it lamb spam, also a 10. The rice was great. Everything about the food was a 10. So we've got some very varying scores here because I've got my 10s and I got my 6 and my 7. So that means into value. Absolute value was right up there, 9 or 10, probably a 10, honestly, at the end of the day. So then the question comes in, would you meet a friend there? And I would say yes, absolutely. If you're in the area, it's convenient and that kind of food is your thing, definitely, absolutely meet a friend there. And part of that's because it's also that value. Meet a date there. This is the interesting one. Again, I agree with you. And here's what I'm going to say.
I wanted to. I didn't want to. The food's that good. Sorry, I didn't even interrupt you.
No, I'm right there with you. I say yes as far as a date, and here is why. What this place lacks in its shitty parking lot and its mediocre ambiance is service and food so goddamn good that when you then explore and experience, which it sounds like he's there most of the time this place is open, Max and his wife, and you get to sit there and talk about the fact that, hey, no matter what anyone says, screw them. This, you can tell the way they put their passion in this food and in everything they're doing there. This is something that they're truly passionate about, and it shows in the results of the food. Somebody took a hell of a risk, and his wife backed him doing this. And the guy, like, he's not a bad looking guy.
No,
definitely like potential Greek mobster. Just saying, good looking guy. But somebody took a hell of a risk to go and live their dream. And when you get to experience that, and the fact that he did bring over that garlic sauce, which not much of a sauce, it was super thick and creamy. But that garlic, just for us to taste and enjoy, which I thought was like everything I tried that I ate was amazing. I also ate too much. I left a couple spoonfuls of rice on my plate just because I didn't want to make myself sick. And I still needed to go home and work out, but every piece of it was attended. And because of the experience factor, what Max and his wife brought to the table, literally, it's absolutely date worthy. The destination piece is the tricky one, because there's only so many times you can take so many people and go talk about the experience. And I do love the fact and the time anyone lives their dream. For me at this point, the destination has to be the whole package, and it's just missing some of that sex appeal, but absolutely would not hesitate to meet a friend or take a date there. Overall score for me was a very solid 8. And I say a very solid 8 because to me, I do consider it a sit-down restaurant. When I'm eating food of that quality, that to me is not fast food. And the value, when you consider that, easily a 9 or 10.
All right. Well, there you have it. If you do go into Mezza Mediterranean Grill off of, was it Compact Boulevard or something like that?
Yes.
Is that
and Chambers, I think.
Yeah.
In Parker, though. Not the Chambers in Aurora.
Yeah. So what he said. Yeah, I would say let them know you heard about them on Scotch Hour. They probably won't give you a discount, but they'll be super happy that they got recommended. And they are super sweet people. They're so nice, and it's great to see them living their dream and being passionate about the food that they're making. And honestly, it was a treat to eat there just because of the pure joy of them, you know. And then sharing their dream with us, you know, that you taste it, right? I mean, it was phenomenal.
Well, and then who the hell doesn't love the fact that the cook, the chef, is literally telling you about all these are my mom's recipes.
Oh, yeah.
Like anybody who's a man and hears that and doesn't get emotional and just be like, God damn, my mom's the best damn cook on this planet. That's probably not a man. Just saying, do not marry him because no matter what you make, it's not going to be good enough because that is real. That is love. That was passion, and everything that they did show through in what we ate.
Oh yeah, it sure did. And it was so nice for him to even come out and talk to us too. That's what makes it great too. And yeah, I don't know. Great experience all around.
I'll go back just for the fries, honestly. When I want good fries, I don't think about McDonald's anymore. I don't think about, I haven't thought about Arby's since they discontinued their potato cakes. I used to go there just for the goddamn potato cakes, and I'd spend $20 with trying to get 4 potato cakes and a Jamocha shake. And like now when I want fries, that's where I'm going. That's for destination. You know, I guess I got to say it is a destination. I got to change that and say, I don't know if it's a destination. It is a destination because when there's certain things I want, that is where I will go. And fries, that's one of the things I'm going to go for there.
Their fries were that good. They
Freaking
really
amazing. When fries are so good you don't need ketchup, like just a teeniest little bit of ketchup takes them up a notch. That's amazing.
Smarter Captains.
This week was to watch the movie The Island and kind of look at like how they did the whole cloning thing and what they used cloning for, and kind of compare it to like the conspiracy theories that we know about cloning in today's world, if you will. Do you want to give a brief synopsis of what The Island is?
We can definitely do that. The Island is an American sci-fi thriller, so to speak, action movie for sure, based in 2005, directed by Michael Bay. The two main characters are, of course, Scarlett Johansson and Ewan McGregor, but I love the fact that Sean Bean is in there. You know, if you don't remember season 1 of Game of Thrones, he was the North King. Who is, spoiler alert if you're 10 years plus behind, gets beheaded in the last episode of season 1, and it was totally a shocker for me. But it's an action.
Spoiler alerts too. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, again, if you're 18 years behind.
Well, there might be some like young kids.
We're telling you about a 2005 movie directed by Michael Bay, not one of the Transformer movies or something more recent. Michael Bay's done a lot. This movie was not well received by audiences. Rotten Tomatoes is a prime example. I think it's like 40 or 60% recommend. It was low.
Was it really?
It was really low. But I can kind of understand some of the pieces of that, because particularly in 2005, a lot of this movie was just unfathomable. It was just, we were in a much more conservative era at that time, which I have nothing against, by the way, but a lot has changed where now people have opened more of their minds, well, some of us, and realize, hey, this is totally possible. And guess what? It sounds like it's happening in some other countries on this planet. It is something that's interesting. So the next piece of this story is there are humans that are brought to an island because supposedly there was, let's call it a pandemic.
Okay.
A pandemic, and most of the population has been wiped out. So these people were brought here to this building, and then one at a time they get to go to the island, which is the one other clean place left on the planet, to go and enjoy their life. Well, long story short, they find out that, Ewan McGregor makes a conscious recognition of, hey, I don't think this is right. Like, this doesn't seem right. This island thing doesn't seem right at all. Like, why would we be going there, winning a lottery, and what's going on up here? Here's another story. Steve Buscemi. Buscemi,
Buscemi, right?
Buscemi, there you go. Steve Buscemi. None of those sounded right. I was like, I'm just going to keep saying it until something comes out. Steve Buscemi is one of the characters in the movie. He does a phenomenal job being who he is, which is just a great actor, and helps Ewan McGregor realize there's something else going on. And actually, he doesn't help Ewan McGregor do anything. Ewan McGregor's smart enough to realize this. He has been cloned. He has not been alive on this planet but a fraction of the years he thinks he's been alive at all. So memories have been implanted. And he is being harvested just like anyone else in this place for their organs by the ultra or uber rich on the outside of this compound's walls. Again, 2005, this all seemed very unfathomable. Now we know they're making organs, basically with printers.
So now they can make supposedly organs using the 3D printers. You have the organ harvesting farms, if you will, in China. So it does seem like, I think at the time, like even to this day, cloning seems like it's a bit of a conspiracy theory that's out there. But really, when you start looking at it, what are stem cell therapy, right? That's what stem cell therapy basically is basically you have stem cells that are unassigned cells, and once they get injected into a part of the body, it takes on whatever that need is. So if you have like a bad knee, you can have stem cell therapy into your knee to where it could repair your knee to where you don't need surgery. So to go as far as saying like cloning is a conspiracy, is it really? Because they started cloning, I think back even before that 2005 movie. Was it Dolly the sheep that was cloned? I think that was like in the late 90s.
And anything we know about they've been doing since they landed on the moon.
Right. So anytime like a scientific discovery like that makes it to mainstream, they've been doing it for a while before it even hits us. So to honestly think, well, I'll put it this way. If you were uber wealthy, like let's say you're a billionaire, maybe like Trump stats where you're a multi-billionaire, or maybe a different billionaire, whoever you want to take, maybe Elon Musk.
Crooked.
Yeah.
Clinton. Or
if you had the opportunity, right, to where you like, there's a company that says like we can like clone you organs, so that way if something were ever to happen to you, you would have accessible organs right away for you to use. As a billionaire, someone who's super wealthy or famous, would you do that?
Now, so we've gone past the whole theory of whether or not this is even a possibility, but whether or not it's right or wrong to us, right? Like, is that?
I guess I'm still going with the whole theory part.
So
but
are you asking me, or are you just asking like, doesn't this make sense?
Anybody really? You, since you're the one you're talking to me.
All right,
I'll answer the question. If I had a ton of money and I was wealthy and rich, and I was, I knew I was going to be doing stupid things, or things could happen to me because you could get cancer or stuff like that.
Because you're rich and you do stupid shit.
Yes, I would do this. and here's the premise, though. In the movie, these people did not know that there are actually people, these clones actually were conscious or anything like that. They just thought it was just a big pile of goo that was growing organs. Now, if I just thought it was a big pile of goo, like as they presented in the movie, hell yeah, I would do this. If I knew that there was clones that were conscious and self-aware, that brings up a whole different ethical question.
Does it though?
I don't know. Because at that point, if they're a clone of you, but they are self-conscious enough, they can think for themselves.
Let's break this down differently.
Okay. I'm going off into a tangent, so yeah.
Because as soon as we finish recording the last show, no one knows this, I stayed up a redonkulous amount of time. What's that TV platform?
Pluto TV.
Watching The Island on Pluto TV. And I didn't know that a TV platform could make a 2-hour movie 4.5 hours long, but they did.
You got 2 hours of advertising.
So I watched this right afterwards because, I think this is a great movie. There's a lot of reasons I think it's a great movie. I think there's great acting in it. I also think even from the get-go, it brought up just interesting questions. I love the fact and the prospect of the future. And back in 2005 in particular, you're looking at a Cadillac that was a rocket ship, a prototype car back then. We have better and faster cars now. And then you have the boats that the technology was always there. I guess the part of this comes from my background going and studying engineering, Colorado School of Mines, and material sciences and applied sciences, knowing that this boat was self-sufficient. Like, hey, the reason this boat's wood and black is because those are solar panels. That's like how it's providing its own energy. This is brilliant. I can go on tangents all day. But what I'm saying is this movie became super sexy because there were so many scientific possibilities in there. Now, let's go off of this tangent back to the controversy, the potential controversy in the movie, which is rich people having clones made for them not knowing that it's a whole clone, thinking it might just be an organ or that it's just a body that has been made, not understanding that they are conscious. In the movie, what we find out is that the unconscious clones, the bodies failed, they collapsed, they had no reason to go on. There was nothing driving the body to maintain or sustain, and the organs failed. They collapsed before they could ever be needed. So what they did find next was that as long as they gave these clones a conscience and a purpose, survival, life, hope, you might make it to the island, all of a sudden they had a reason to work out, to exercise, to learn, to educate. All those are the primary functions of a brain, which, let's face it, if you're trying to harvest a liver, lungs, heart, kidneys, skin, the brain is ultimately what sends the signals. Hey, I need you to do this. Hey, we got to move faster. Hey, we got to do this. Produce. Versus if a brain's not moving, not learning, not growing, the whole thing's dying. It literally makes scientific sense. When people get old, typically they stop learning, they stop having goals and motivations and stop trying to get things done. Their mind, they let their mind become weak, and their mind lets their bodies become weak and fail. So these clones were failing until the mind gave them a reason and a purpose to live. Okay, that's a basic piece right there. Okay, great. So now we have clones that are conscious. Then the next question comes in. You're rich. You're billionaire status. You're talking about pennies out of your pocketbook, so to speak. And you found out you did so many drugs or drank so much alcohol or had so much sex and got so many diseases that parts of your body are going to shut down. You got 2 years to figure it out, and somebody else comes around the corner. Hey, man, you got $10 billion for 1/1000th of that. I can make a clone for you, and before your kidneys or your liver or your heart shut down, I've got a replacement, man. You're golden. Yeah. Doing it. So then now this is assuming they think, okay, so it's just a clone. This isn't a person. Here's where it gets tricky. Now you've got a billionaire. I don't know many billionaires who were dumbfounded by becoming a billionaire. These people were usually ruthless, cutthroats most of their life, if not when they got to a certain point, or they were so driven that they know they stepped on a lot of goddamn people. I don't think one single one of them gives two sharts about the fact that they're stepping on a clone that's conscious. And here's where, even if you're not a billionaire, you got to ask yourself, well, do you believe in God? Do you believe in souls? Do you believe in religion? And the second you actually do start to believe in those things, I think this is where you actually have to stand back and be like, it's a clone. It's okay. That's not a soul. That's not a spirit. That's not God or the Father or the Holy Spirit. It's none of these things. The Son, that is literally just a body that thinks it knows something. And it's twisted because you can say, if you're the clone, you sure as hell don't feel that way. But at the end of the day, if you do believe in a religion where God is the creator, or any other number of things, you kind of have to be like, yeah, that's okay. Which is twisted. Again, if I'm the clone, I sure as hell don't feel that way. But if I'm not the clone, yeah, man, like science.
I think it does kind of fall into a whole moral aspect there. I mean, because even if you do start going with that aspect of like believing in God and all that stuff, it doesn't have a soul, doesn't have a soul, and stuff like that. Once it becomes a self-aware living being,
AKA, be wary I.
beware of it. At that point, yeah, you're not wrong. At that point, do they have a right to live? And I don't know. I mean, it depends on whether or not you give that classification of life to a clone.
Again, so there's the next step. So at what point is slavery not okay?
Right?
Because they are a slave for their organs.
They exactly. Well, and here's the thing: they would not be in existence if the wealthy billionaire did not pay the $5 million plus or whatever it was to have them created for their organs. So they wouldn't even be alive in the first place.
Yeah.
So I like that's why I said yes, I would do it. Would I feel bad about it? Honestly, I have no idea. I would like to say that I would not feel bad about it at all, but then there's a part of me that might be like, if I knew they were self-conscious and they were self-aware and all this stuff, maybe they had a right to live. But who's to say that? I don't really know. But I paid for them to have that organ, so I want my organ.
So there's a point in the movie where Ewan McGregor's character, the donor, if you will, for the DNA, is faced with his clone.
Right.
And it's hot ass Scarlett Johansson. Like, let's not face the fact or forget the fact that if I'm Ewan McGregor and I'm looking at my clone and he's with Scarlett Johansson, I'm like, what did I get wrong? But taking her out of the picture, even so, they have a conversation. And I do think it was something that was interesting to me, which is, man, I've had a great life. If I'm Ewan McGregor's character, I've had a great life. Here's this clone just getting started, pure, has a future potential without anyone else's organs that I don't. Part of me is almost okay to let him live and carry on as my life. And just from this pure aspect of science, if I could figure out a way, if I was smart enough to figure out a way to see like how far could this go, like at that point, I've almost done my job. It's almost like having a kid. And you live through them, even though you're going to die. And you know that. A parent, you have a kid, you know, one of the biggest tragedies, if you're a lucky parent, by the way, some parents actually have to watch their kids die before them. But if you're a lucky parent, you don't. But you also have a kid knowing that if you're a lucky parent, you die before your kid. And that's a tragedy your kid has to go through. As a clone, now let's take it that standpoint. If we're going to value the life of the clone, saying that they're a kid, but they're not going to miss the parent, then there's also a disconnect there. And yeah, I want my organ. Bye, clone.
So, all right, probability wise, are there such thing as underground bases? I think that's been proven. So I think even back in 2005, we knew that there's a possibility of underground bases. Like you had NORAD that's inside a mountain. But to the complexity of this type of complex, I don't think anyone thought maybe it could be that complex. But honestly, I think the technology is there. We're just not told about it.
I'm going to go back to my standard fallback. If we can go to the moon, we can clone a human.
Who says we've been to the moon, though?
Argument for another day.
So, is there any, like, I know we went off on a tangent there and stuff like that, and really talking about the whole possibility of cloning. Do you think, or could it become available in the near future, if not already, that they do have cloning farms for organs?
I think they're already out there. I think that the mass media, so to speak, hides the fact that these sorts of things can happen by having adrenochrome and all sorts of other crazy, let's kill a kid and take the blood from their toes and all this crap. Like, let's make a controversy that big so that people forget that cloning, which is scientifically proven impossible, is happening.
I can't believe you just brought up adrenochrome, but because it's real.
Let me just get a new organ. I don't need to live forever killing little kitties. Let me just have a clone.
I honestly think that they do have these like cloning farms, and honestly, like if you start like looking at some of these like alternative media stuff, they're saying like there's already like as we talked about I think 2 or 3 episodes ago, that they've already started cloning like certain superstars or celebrities and stuff like that, or politicians, and that's why some of these people look different, or they seem different, or talk different, or they malfunction.
Biden got the worst damn clone multiplicity had to offer.
Exactly. So on the realism scale here, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10 here.
I don't think it's even a question. We don't get to see as normal humans the results, but they have let us know that what we saw in Jurassic Park, filling in bits and pieces of DNA for dinosaurs, is possible and has been done by using frogs and reptiles and birds. Anyone who thinks that they aren't doing this,
well, they've already said there's some places out there that talk about Pigman, that there's already they've already tried to do they've already blended human DNA with pig DNA and created a Pigman.
See, that just seems stupid because pork's delicious. What are they trying to do? Make cannibals?
Who knows?
I want a centaur. Let's be smart about this.
All right,
some scientist who just cloned a pig man. He's like, why the hell didn't I think about that? I look at this guy every day and I'm like, I'm getting hungry.
All right, I got one last question here. This one not having to do so much about the conspiracy with clones or anything like that, but it does fall back to the movie and the clones, is that once they release all these clones out of the base and they start walking out into the desert area, what do real life humans, real humans, and the government do to with these people or these clones at this point? Because now you got self-aware clones who know that they're about to be killed, being told that they're going to the island. You got the military-industrial complex, which invested billions of dollars into this technology, along with a bunch of billionaires who invested tons of money into this technology. Are they really just going to let these people, like these clones, live? Or are they going to come in and do, hire some kind of squad to come in and, eradicate them?
The answer is already there. You saw what they did just chasing two of them. A whole party. They would probably go to the extent of, I don't know, creating a pandemic, so they could get everyone to go in their houses and then just hunt them down.
Is that what happened with COVID? Oh, wait, that was just to kill off humans and to eradicate our population.
Make them bored and die. I'm bored to death. Fun fact. A lot of people did get bored and die because they couldn't exercise while being locked in their houses during COVID.
Fun fact. Is that really a fun fact? Morbid fact.
No, that's a fun fact.
All right. Anything else you want to say about this topic? It's only meant to be.
No, I think it was a great topic. I think it's a great movie. I do think that it's a good thing for anyone who will just be honest with yourself. You don't have to share it with the rest of the population, but I challenge you to. I say the smarter challenge is to be so bold as to say, here's who I would vote for in the next election to people you trust. I don't think most people even will do that. All I hear them say is, well, I'm not voting for Biden. And I'm like, if there's two names on the ballot, who's the other person you're voting for?
Is Trump
you didn't vote
Is Trump
for?
even allowed on the Congress ballot yet?
No, but the whole point is it's this whole thing of 4 years ago. Today you're saying you won't vote for the person you voted for a couple years ago. What were you thinking a couple years ago? At the end of the day, but regardless of that, take the challenge to yourself, share and have this conversation with people you love and trust, or at least trust and like, if you don't love anyone, and just say, hey, if it was possible, and I knew I was going to die in 2 years, but I could create a clone of myself, and then they would slaughter that clone like it was a pig, so that I could have the heart and live another 20 plus years, would I do it? And man, I am so blessed in life. And I don't want to say that I'm taking everything I've had for granted. I would never want to do that. And there's always that other side, but I want to see the next 20 years. I'm so proud of my kids. I'm so, life is great. I work hard. And I'm happy that some days I struggle, because then there are other days where I figure out how to overcome that struggle and I make myself and other people better because of it. I don't want to lose that. So yeah, I would do it.
I would too. I mean, I don't think it's a question. I think the question really comes into play is like, what if you learn that they're self-aware? Does it
Dude, I would already do it. How self-aware? Hey, you want to play chess before the surgery? Let's go play chess. Doesn't matter if you win or lose. I already won.
You know,
like, I'm not trying to be morbid or cold, but we all have a place.
yeah. Well, and I think you kind of like, I think if we were to bring in like the altered carbon where he does, where he creates a second one of himself with his consciousness in it, and that like you call it a clone, if you will, has never experienced certain things in life, I'd be like
sex?
Yeah. Like, go do that, and now I'm going to have my organ.
Hell no. What kind of diseases would it catch?
Oh, you got to make sure who's
No fun. No fun.
So with the Scarlett Johansson clone, sure, go have sex with the Scarlett Johansson clone.
Me or my clone?
Both? Either?
No. That's not right. You don't do those things to clones. That would be wrong. See, so now you bring up something that's interesting. You just crossed a line to me. Making sex slave clones would absolutely be wrong to me. I don't know why. That just crossed the line for me.
Why? Is it because it's making him into a sex slave?
I don't know. But like literally that just crossed the line.
Because if you're saying that clone has no rights.
Right.
So what would be the difference of making a sex clone?
I think that is more than use, where I think an organ is use. I think that's literally abuse to me. And I'm just
saying, organs get used.
This is part of my code. Wrong organ. Not saving my life. Maybe making my day. But that would literally be one of those places where I would blow the place up my own clone inside. Be like, this is wrong. Boom.
I never even went there and thought about that until you brought it up.
I'm just saying that would be that's like that to me. Dude, I don't even know why.
It's okay to buy a clone, grow it, kill it, and slaughter it for your own organs. But it's not okay to grow a clone and have it for sex.
No, dude, I'm telling you, for whatever reason, that violates my code. That's like so wrong to me. And it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
Would this violate your code? And you don't have to answer this one. You buy a clone, grow it, so that way you can shoot it and kill it or hunt it.
See, now that's interesting, because if you're talking about an endangered species on the planet, but you're not actually killing one of the endangered species, you're killing a clone, I don't necessarily feel like it's right, but I don't feel like that's wrong. But if it's a human, I think there's something that you have to be really messed up in the head to do something to a clone's body while they're conscious.
So you see the movie Hostel, right?
So I think this is where the line is. The cross in the line is when that other being.
It's not a being if it's,
that clone is conscious. And then whether you're shooting it or killing it or doing any other number of things with it, which is interesting because that's actually in the movie, by the way. We're going to go right there next. That crosses the line for me because you're abusing their conscious, which they're not supposed to have. But there was in the movie a clone created where the clone had the baby, so the mommy wouldn't get stretched out. The clone had the baby, and then it was delivered to the parents, and the clone was killed.
Yes. Is that wrong?
See, that's where it gets twisted.
See, for me, that violates my code because if a clone, right, is not considered to be alive.
How can it give birth?
Well, not how can it give birth. Maybe it can, but is that baby a clone?
So it depends on which daddy was in it.
Or, well, then what is half clone?
It's only half clone.
But in that case, does it even have a soul?
This is what I'm talking about with the beginning. That's why the second you bring religion into this, you're crossing you like have to figure out where you're going to cross the line, what's right and what's wrong.
So I think in this case, like, yeah, I see, like, okay, they got these clones, so like the mom would get stretch marks and all that stuff and have to bear the child. But at that point, is it still a real child? Is it really?
It's not her child. It is not the same experience to be a father, a mother, or anything and not go through the shit, the pain. I think that is part of the human experience that you can only get by actually going through it.
But they're going to be raising this like it's a human, but it's not a human at this point.
Also, they didn't go through the actual pain. They just, and that's another struggle. It's like, hey, man.
Well, we could sit here and talk about this for like probably another 30 minutes easly, I'm sure.
Days. This one doesn't go away. Again, this. I think this was a great topic, Noah. Proud of you for choosing this in the sense of it got. I mean, you saw the excitement immediately. I literally went and watched the movie on the worst platform I could have chosen. Like, I literally was like, my time means everything to me. 4.5 hours later, is this over yet? But man, it really does bring an interesting purview into it. Man, the abuse piece. I think again, though, twisted because death, are you causing it pain if it was never really a soul and alive? It gets so twisted.
So what's your guys' take on this? Leave it in the comments if you guys watch this part.
Share it with us. I'm definitely against the sex slaves, and Noah's definitely against using them to birth your child. Because it wouldn't be your child.
It wouldn't be. And it'd still be a clone.
But what if it was the sex slave you were okay with that's having your baby?
I never said I was okay with the sex slave.
I know.
I never said I was okay with it. I never said I wasn't okay with it.
Okay.
I just left it in an uncomfortable gray area because,
dude, totally uncomfortable to me. I'm totally uncomfortable with that. That seems morally wrong to me.
I mean, they're making these like lifelike human-sized dolls with like skin and like that's warm and has like computer stuff in it. Like, honestly, the next step from there is probably really to have like a true clone sex slave.
I mean, I guess that's part of the thing is I've never gone and had sex and disconnected my mind and my body. And to me, you would have to do that to do it with a clone. And to me, like, well, then what's the point?
Yeah, I'm not like I said, I'm not agreeing with it or disagreeing with it. I'm just saying it's definitely one of those gray areas where like I really don't even want to go into.
Oh, you've been in it, just like we've been to the moon.
All right. Any final words?
No, again, great topic. Really appreciated. Think it's great. Have enjoyed it and look forward to more in the future. It will definitely be something, and it has been something I have talked with people I trust. Just like I made the challenge out there, what would you do? But I wouldn't, here we are talking about it for anyone to see. And I'm sitting here saying, don't talk about this with people. Because it is a touchy subject, because it will help you find if you think about it and you process it where your code lies. And I think we've seen it in even our own reactions about like my reaction to how wrong I thought a sex slave was a clone would be.
See, the reason why I don't think I've really answered this question, and I agree with you, it's wrong, is that I wasn't even going there thinking about that. I was just thinking about like how like in the one show, Altered Carbon, the guy's like, yeah, go to that island, have sex with Bancroft's wife, and you'll come back, and then you'll die, and then I'll go on living or whatever. But like, so it's like giving him like hey, you served your purpose, whatever, made it look like I left the L.A. area, and then I can go do my thing, you do your thing, and then you got your rocks off, and then you're dead. But I wasn't thinking about like sex slave stuff or anything like that until you brought it up. Now I'm like, I don't even know what to do with this. This is a hot, goopy mess that I don't even know how to respond to. But any case, my final word message here is I like how we just, if there's supposed to be a light subject, watching a movie, talk about something that's possibly going on in the world today as a conspiracy theory / real thing happening, and just kind of converse back and forth and just have like a conversation, which I thought was really fun to do. So
it was, and I'll give one last final word, and that is knowing that human trafficking goes on, and some of that human trafficking is going on for human organs. If something like this could deter human trafficking, I would 100% support it.
Ooh, that's a good question. That's a good question there. Would I support that or not?
I would 100% support it. To end humans who have been alive from birth, who've been birthed, who have grown, to end their suffering, I would be okay with cloning organs and creating clones, so that it became a moot point to go and abduct and do any number of terrible things to real natural born humans.
I think if it could do that, I'd be for it. But it seems like almost like you're righting a wrong with a wrong.
Let's face it. If they're making clones, they're making human sex slave clones. Let's face it. They're getting the
back to the sex slave clones, everyone. Just
all right. And on next week's Scotch Hour,
sex clones.
Here's mine. Who does she look like? Don't answer that. All right, next week's Scotch. We are going there. We flipped a coin. We're not flipping a coin this time. I'm not going to be let down again. Next week's Scotch is the 21-year Glenfiddich Grand Reserve, a single malt Scotch whiskey. The Broncos may have let us down this past week. The CU Buffs may have let us down this whole season. Glenfiddich, please don't let us down next week. Aiden, you made me proud. Glenfiddich, be like Aiden. All right, and next week's Smarter Challenge. If we're out there and we're giving our kids advice, what 5 things to look for in a mate, in someone that their goal is to spend the rest of their life with one person, what 5 things would we tell them to look for?
All right. Well, this should be easy. I have no kids, so
you're like clone sex slave. I got it down one.
First, I'm going to tell my son to do is find go purchase a clone sex slave.
You're going to be the happiest person on the planet. Done.
And if she starts to argue with you, you can trash that one and get a new one.
Dude.
Just joking, everybody.
How to take something from a 2 to a negative 25. Topics we should talk about: 1 to 10, 2, negative 25.
It could be lower than negative 25.
It's well lower than that. The way you just said that. Just trash it. Trash it.
Beep.
What the garbage disposal is for. Jesus, son.
All right, we probably should close this out before I dig myself
I
a
need to
deeper
write
hole.
a book about this episode. All right, remember, life is great. Do not drink and drive. Life should not be easy, but it should be fun. And
thank you to all those viewers out there who watch us on YouTube and Rumble. We greatly appreciate all of you. If you also made it this far and you're a listener on one of the many different podcast platforms, we thank you for listening to our podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave some comments down below. And if you do enjoy our content, we do have a link down below for the podcast or Podbean. I forget what it's called. Podbean something or other. Patron. You can take that link and donate $1, as minimum as $1 or however much you want to.
Still waiting for Elon Musk donation.
Yeah, right. to help us out with our drinking habits and topics here,
And cloning.
and if you have any topics you want us to talk about, please throw those in the comment area. With that, we greatly appreciate all of you. And Scotchman.
Cheers.
We hope you enjoyed this evening's episode of Scotch Hour. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you have not done so already, please become a Patron member, with memberships starting as low as $1 a month. Thank you, and hopefully you have a wonderful evening.